You're in a relationship, but something feels off. You've noticed a lack of intimacy. It's not just physical, it's emotional too. Your partner seems distant, disconnected, and the affection you once shared feels like a distant memory. You've tried talking about it, but the conversation never goes anywhere. Maybe you've even hinted at it, but nothing changes. The truth is, when a partner starves you of intimacy, it's not just frustrating, it's damaging to both of you. Intimacy is the glue that holds a relationship together. Without it, you're left feeling empty, confused, and unappreciated. But it's not always clear what to do when you're in this situation. Should you confront them directly? Should you give them space? Or is it time to walk away? There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there are steps you can take to regain control, preserve your self-worth, and decide what's best for you. The key is to approach the situation with confidence and clarity. You need to take action, not just hope things will get better on their own. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what you can do when intimacy is lacking in your relationship. We're going to dive into the tactics that will help you understand the problem, communicate effectively, and ultimately decide whether to fix things or move on. The reality is, no one deserves to feel alone in a relationship. So let's tackle this head-on and put you back in control. It's time to stop waiting for things to magically improve and start making the changes you need to see. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my exclusive online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course goes deeper, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. We just completed section 4 in the course, and these insights aren't shared anywhere else. It's easy to access with multiple secure payment options. There are only 5 discounted slots remaining using the promo code. Visit stoicapproachtolife.podia.com or check the link in the description to enroll now before the offer is gone. 1. Recognize the signs of intimacy starvation. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge that the lack of intimacy is real. It's easy to ignore or downplay the problem, convincing yourself that everything will get better on its own. But this is where many men make a mistake. They stay passive, waiting for their partner to snap out of it, and in the meantime, their emotional and physical needs are left unmet. Recognizing the signs of intimacy starvation is crucial. The most obvious is the lack of physical affection. No kissing, no touching, no sex. But there are other subtle signs as well. Your partner may stop initiating conversations, avoid eye contact, or seem uninterested in spending time with you. When intimacy fades, your connection suffers, and it's hard to ignore that growing distance. You might start feeling frustrated, questioning your worth, or even becoming resentful. But here's the thing. This is not a reflection of your value as a man. Relationships go through phases, but if your partner is consistently starving you of intimacy, it's not something you can just ignore. When the intimacy stops, the relationship becomes a transactional arrangement. You're two people living under the same roof, but there's no spark, no connection. It's just routine. Recognizing these signs early gives you the chance to take control of the situation before it spirals into something bigger. Ask yourself if you've noticed a pattern of distance or lack of affection. Is your partner disengaging emotionally or physically? If the answer is yes, it's time to take action. Don't wait for them to make the first move. You need to address it head on. Ignoring the problem won't make it go away. It only allows the gap to widen. The sooner you identify that intimacy is lacking, the quicker you can work on either fixing it or deciding whether it's time to walk away. Recognizing these signs isn't about blaming your partner. It's about taking responsibility for your own emotional and physical well-being. You deserve to be in a relationship where both your emotional and physical needs are met, and it's your right to address any situation that compromises that balance. Don't let yourself become comfortable in a stagnant, unfulfilling situation. Awareness is the first step toward taking control and making a real change. 2. Understand the root cause. Before you do anything, it's essential to understand why your partner has pulled away. Is there something happening in their life that's affecting their ability to connect with you? Has something changed in your relationship that's triggered this distance? Sometimes the root cause isn't about you at all. Stress from work, family problems, or even personal insecurities can make your partner less available emotionally and physically. People can get so wrapped up in their own struggles that they forget to nurture the relationship they're in. But here's the important part. Even if the cause isn't something you've done, it still impacts you. Your needs are valid and they deserve to be heard. Understanding the cause isn't about making excuses for your partner's behavior. It's about finding a way to communicate and tackle the issue together. If your partner is dealing with external stressors, it's likely that their emotional energy is depleted. They may not have the mental or physical bandwidth to give you the intimacy you need. However, understanding the cause also helps you decide how to approach the conversation. If their emotional reserve is low due to stress, it might take patience and empathy from you to rebuild that connection. On the other hand, if the issue stems from dissatisfaction with the relationship itself, it's crucial to address it directly. Take a step back and reflect on any changes in their behavior. Have they become more distant or withdrawn? Have they stopped being affectionate or initiating conversations? Are they avoiding physical contact? These aren't just signs of intimacy starvation. They might be signs of deeper issues. Understanding these changes will allow you to have a more informed and productive conversation with your partner. If the intimacy is being starved due to external stress, you can offer your support. But if the root cause is something more serious, like resentment or dissatisfaction in the relationship, you need to face that head on. It's also essential to look at your own behavior. Sometimes, without realizing it, we contribute to the lack of intimacy. Have you become complacent? Have you stopped making an effort to keep the spark alive? Are you taking your partner for granted? Take a hard look at your actions and how they may have played a role in the situation. Relationships are a two-way street, and both partners need to put in the effort to make things work. Understanding the root cause gives you the insight you need to approach the situation with a mindset of problem solving rather than frustration. Once you've identified the root cause, you'll know what direction to take. If it's external stress, you can be supportive and patient. If it's a deeper issue with the relationship itself, you may need to address unmet needs, communication gaps, or unresolved conflicts. Either way, understanding the cause puts you in a much better position to fix the problem rather than just reacting emotionally to the situation. It's not about finding someone to blame. It's about discovering how to reconnect and make things right. 3. Communicate openly and honestly. Once you've recognized the problem and started to understand its root cause, the next critical step is communication. You can't expect things to change if you don't speak up and lay things out clearly. Too often, men shy away from difficult conversations thinking it's better to stay silent and avoid conflict. But in reality, silence only creates more distance. If your partner is starving you of intimacy, there's a good chance they're either unaware of how it's affecting you or they don't feel safe discussing it. Without open and honest communication, you're both stuck in the same frustrating loop. The first thing to do is find a time to talk when both of you are calm and open. This isn't a conversation you want to have in the heat of the moment or when emotions are running high. Plan for a time when you can sit down without distractions and focus on each other. If you've been feeling neglected, you might be angry or resentful, but you need to approach this with clarity and maturity. Stay calm and speak in a way that invites understanding, not conflict. Make it clear that this is about finding a solution, not blaming anyone. Be direct, but also be compassionate. Instead of accusing or pointing fingers, express how you feel. For example, instead of saying "Yene, you never touch me anymore," try "I've been feeling disconnected lately," because we haven't been as affectionate with each other. Use I statements to avoid making your partner feel attacked. This opens the door for them to share their side of things without feeling cornered or defensive. This conversation isn't just about expressing your needs, it's about listening to your partner's side as well. They may have their own reasons for pulling away, and it's crucial that you hear them out. It could be that they're dealing with stress, anxiety, or personal issues that they haven't been able to share with you. Maybe they've been hurt in the past, and it's affecting their ability to open up. Listening without interrupting shows that you're there to work through the issue together, not just to vent your frustrations. As you communicate, stay open to what your partner says. Even if it's difficult to hear, don't shut down or get defensive. Instead, focus on understanding their perspective. Relationships are built on mutual respect, and that includes understanding the emotional needs of both people involved. When both partners feel heard and validated, it becomes easier to move toward a solution that works for both of you. Keep in mind that this conversation may not solve everything in one sitting. Sometimes it takes several discussions to truly understand each other and start making progress. But the key here is to start the conversation. Even if things don't immediately change, taking the initiative shows your partner that you're committed to working on the relationship. And don't forget to talk about intimacy in all its forms, not just physical, but emotional intimacy too. You may have been focusing solely on the lack of physical affection, but intimacy is also about vulnerability, emotional connection, and shared experiences. Ask your partner about their emotional needs and how you can fulfill them. This holistic approach will help you both feel closer and more connected, setting a solid foundation for rebuilding intimacy in your relationship. Clear, compassionate communication is the bedrock of resolving any relationship issue, especially one as sensitive as intimacy. Don't underestimate the power of simply talking things through. 4. Reignite the spark with action. Once you've communicated openly about the issue, it's time to take action. Words are powerful, but nothing beats the impact of genuine effort. When intimacy starts to fade, it's easy for both partners to get complacent, assuming the relationship will continue to function on autopilot. But relationships require continuous effort. You can't just wait for the spark to return on its own. You have to reignite it. Start by focusing on small, intentional acts that show your partner they matter to you. These actions don't have to be grand gestures. It's the little things that count the most. Think about the way you used to be when the relationship was fresh. What did you do to keep your partner interested? To make them feel special? Revisit those habits. Compliment them. Show interest in their day. Make time for them. And don't just go through the motions. Physical touch is an important part of this. Hold their hand, give them a hug, or even sit close to them without needing to talk. Intimacy isn't always about the big moments. It's about the ongoing, everyday gestures that reinforce the connection. But action isn't limited to just being affectionate. You also need to show your partner that you're committed to improving the emotional intimacy between you. Plan something special together, whether it's a date night, a weekend getaway, or just spending quality time doing something you both enjoy. This doesn't have to be expensive or elaborate. The point is to create an opportunity to reconnect in a way that reignites the closeness you've been missing. Pay attention to your partner's needs, not just your own. If they've mentioned feeling stressed or overwhelmed, step up and offer support. If they've been pulling away due to personal issues, be patient and understanding. Show them you're a partner they can lean on, not just someone they have to take care of. Intimacy is built on trust, vulnerability, and emotional safety. When your partner feels that you're there for them, not just when it's convenient for you, they're more likely to reciprocate with emotional and physical affection. Sometimes, intimacy starvation can happen because one partner feels neglected or unseen. It's crucial to acknowledge and address these feelings. If your partner feels like they've been taken for granted, their response may be to withdraw, which then compounds the issue. To break the cycle, you need to show through your actions that you value them and the relationship. It's about demonstrating consistency over time. One night of effort won't change things, but continuous thoughtful gestures will slowly build the intimacy that's been missing. Also, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Relationships are a two-way street, and both partners need to be at their best for the relationship to thrive. Take care of your own mental and physical health so that you can bring your best self into the relationship. This includes finding ways to manage your own stress, pursuing your own passions, and maintaining a sense of independence. When you're confident and content with who you are, it becomes easier to show up fully for your partner. Remember that regaining intimacy is not about winning your partner back. It's about creating an environment where both of you can feel safe, appreciated, and connected. If you're putting in the effort to make things better, your partner will notice, and if they're truly invested in the relationship, they'll be motivated to reciprocate. Reigniting the spark requires time, patience, and commitment, but the reward is a deeper, more fulfilling connection that benefits both of you. 5. Set clear standards and boundaries. There comes a point where effort must be matched. You can be the most understanding, affectionate, and patient man on earth, but if your partner continuously ignores your emotional and physical needs, it's time to step back and draw the line. This is not about being controlling or issuing ultimatums. This is about protecting your dignity, your self-respect, and your emotional health. Every man needs to know where his boundary lies, and he must have the courage to enforce it. If your partner is starving you of intimacy, and the conversation, effort, and reconnection haven't changed anything, you have to be honest with yourself. Are you being loved the way you deserve? Are your needs constantly dismissed or minimized? If so, it's time to set a clear standard for how you expect to be treated. Standards are not demands. They're non-negotiables. They're the line you draw to protect yourself from emotional neglect. You're not saying, do this or else. You're saying, this is what I require to stay fulfilled in this relationship. This doesn't mean walking out immediately. It means being clear about what's acceptable and what's not, and giving your partner the opportunity to rise to that standard. Let them know you're not willing to stay in a relationship that feels one-sided. Let them understand that intimacy is not a luxury or a bonus. It's part of the foundation of a healthy relationship. And if it's being withheld without any valid reason or willingness to fix it, that's not love. That's emotional starvation. Boundaries are not just for your partner, they're for you too. You have to be disciplined enough to honor them. It's easy to say you won't tolerate something, but the real test comes when you're tempted to ignore your own standards out of fear of losing someone. But ask yourself, what's the point of staying with someone if being with them feels like being alone? A boundary is not about punishing your partner. It's about protecting your peace. If you've communicated clearly, shown consistent effort, and your partner still doesn't care to meet you halfway, you have every right to stop pouring into a dry well. There's strength in walking away from situations where you're not seen, heard, or valued. That doesn't make you weak or impatient. It makes you a man who values himself enough to demand more from life and love. Setting boundaries also helps clarify whether your partner is truly committed to the relationship. If they care, they'll respond to your standards with effort. If they don't, they'll pull away even further. And that tells you everything you need to know. It reveals whether they're capable of giving you the kind of connection you deserve, or if you've been fighting for something that only you care about. Your job as a man is not to beg for love, affection, or intimacy. It's to show up, give your best, and expect the same. If you're not getting that, then setting clear standards is how you reclaim your power, not in anger, not in threats, but in quiet strength. A man who knows his worth doesn't have to chase what's already slipping away. He simply steps aside and lets what's not meant for him go. 6. Don't settle for breadcrumbs. Many men fall into the trap of accepting the bare minimum just to keep the relationship alive. They hang on to tiny moments of attention, occasional compliments, or rare physical contact, thinking it's better than nothing. This is what's called breadcrumbing. And the hard truth is, when a woman gives you crumbs of affection, she's usually just doing enough to keep you around while giving nothing close to real intimacy. Breadcrumbs are dangerous because they create emotional confusion. You start justifying bad treatment. You tell yourself, she hugged me last week, so maybe she's trying. Or, We were intimate last month, maybe she's just stressed. And in that state of confusion, you stay stuck in a cycle of low expectations, hoping for a spark that never becomes a flame. A real relationship doesn't thrive on scraps. It grows from consistency, effort, and mutual desire. Don't confuse occasional attention with genuine intimacy. There's a difference between a woman who is emotionally invested and one who just wants to keep you on standby. If she truly values you, she won't wait until you're frustrated or distant to show affection. She'll make it a priority. When a woman truly cares, you won't need to remind her that you have needs. She'll already be tuned in. Now here's the uncomfortable part. If you keep accepting breadcrumbs, you're teaching her that it's enough. You're training her that she doesn't have to show up fully because you'll always be there no matter how little she gives. That's not love. That's survival. And surviving in a relationship is not the same as thriving in one. Refuse to settle. Not in anger, not in desperation, but in quiet, unshakable confidence. You deserve passion, connection, and presence. Not delayed texts, not excuses, not pity hugs. When you stop accepting crumbs, you send a powerful message, not just to her, but to yourself. You raise the standard. You show that your needs are not optional. They're essential. And don't let anyone shame you for having those needs. Intimacy is not just a luxury. It's part of how relationships stay alive. It's how two people bond and grow together. When that's missing, and worse, when it's being dangled in front of you like a prize you have to earn, you're no longer in a relationship. You're in a power game, and the only way to win is not to play. This is where most men get tested. They think walking away from breadcrumbs means losing the woman. But the truth is you're not losing anything if you are only getting the bare minimum. What you're actually doing is making space for something better. A relationship where you don't have to beg, where your emotional and physical needs aren't treated like a burden, where intimacy isn't used as leverage. So stop settling. Stop hoping that small moments will turn into consistency. Let your actions reflect your value. A woman who wants to be with you won't make you guess. She'll show up fully. And if she won't, then you already have your answer. 7. Rebuild yourself with or without her. When a woman starves you of intimacy, whether emotionally or physically, it does more than just affect the relationship. It chips away at your confidence, your masculinity, and your mental balance. You start questioning your worth. You begin to wonder if something's wrong with you. You internalize the neglect and carry the weight like it's your fault. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. This is not the time to break down. It's the time to rebuild. Rebuilding yourself is not about revenge. It's not about proving something to her. It's about coming back home to yourself. Because somewhere along the line, you lost parts of who you were. You started sacrificing your identity to keep the peace, to hold the relationship together, to avoid conflict, to be the understanding man. And while all those things are noble, they should never cost you your strength or self-worth. Start by getting back into your own routine, the gym, your purpose, your goals, your mind. All the things that made you feel alive before the relationship started to drain you. Stop waiting for her to validate you. That silence you're getting, fill it with power moves. Every time she pulls away, use that space to build something. Don't chase, don't beg, build. And if she comes back while you're rebuilding, she'll either level up to match the man you're becoming, or she'll realize she can't keep up. That's how you know what she really brings to the table. When a man starts rebuilding, the mask falls off. You begin to see clearly who's really with you and who's only there when you're at your lowest. Now let's say she doesn't come back. What then? You don't lose. You just get freer. You get to become the version of yourself that doesn't tolerate emotional starvation. You become the man that sets the tone in every area of his life, including relationships. Women are drawn to that kind of man, not because he's arrogant, but because he's clear. He knows who he is. He knows what he brings. He knows what he won't accept. And that energy shifts everything. Healing from emotional neglect doesn't mean numbing yourself or becoming cold. It means facing the pain head on, feeling it, processing it, and then using it as fuel. You don't have to pretend it didn't hurt. You just don't let that hurt turn you into a man who settles for less than he deserves. Rebuilding also means surrounding yourself with people and environments that remind you of your worth. Get around brothers who keep you sharp. Spend time in spaces that challenge you and demand your growth. Read, learn, work, create. The more you invest in yourself, the less power emotional neglect will have over you. Whether she chooses to meet you in that rebuilding season or not, the mission stays the same. Become better, stronger, clearer, the kind of man who doesn't need to beg for intimacy because he already carries value. That's not ego, that's clarity. And when a man gets clear, everything in his life starts to align, including love. When your partner starves you of intimacy, it's a loud message, even if it's wrapped in silence. You can either shrink and chase or rise and reclaim your strength. This isn't just about fixing a relationship, it's about fixing your foundation as a man. Stop accepting the bare minimum. Stop questioning your worth. Set your standards, stand on them, and rebuild yourself, with or without her. If she truly values you, she'll rise to meet you. And if she doesn't, you'll still win. Because you chose self-respect over emotional starvation. That's how a man leads. That's how a man lives. If you're serious about mastering the dating game, don't miss out on my exclusive online course. We go beyond what's covered in these videos, giving you powerful insights from the first approach to lasting attraction. Only 5 discounted slots remain, and it's easy to enroll with secure payment options. Visit stoicapproachtolife.podia.com or simply click the link in the description to secure your spot. Don't wait until it's too late. Take action now and start transforming your dating life today.